hello, and welcome back to Session 8 of Rift. When last we left the Signature 6, you arrived back in Fletcher's Roost with a rail wraith bound to an iron flask and a damaged train available for reasonable amounts of time from Sinclair Locomotives. Pulling into town is a remarkable sight for you as you've been gone for 12 days, and a little bit of smoke is still billowing from the direction of the coins. I told you last time a bounty had been posted and updated for Laotse Shirai. The listing has changed substantially, saying 1,200 gold for the living person.
Okay.
300 gold for their corpse. Meaning the intention has changed from capture and question to neutralize the threat by any means. But their crimes include, in no particular order, grand larceny, theft of a horse carriage, assault on an inquisitor, attempted murder of a church official, and conspiracy to commit murder of a city official. Laotse was last seen in the coins roughly 6 days ago. There are also many rising piles of trash and waste in the streets, as the night soil men have been temporarily disallowed. Inquisitor presence has also been dramatically increased, and the curfew has been elevated to 5 p.m.
Damn.
House Hakone has offered their personal guards to protect high-value citizens. But I'll say you guys can park the train for now in the Guildhall rail yards. So you guys have access to it if you want to go anywhere.
What time of day is it right now?
I think we said it's like early afternoon that day. I think you guys got in at like 11 a.m.
Okay.
Because the train was rocking and rolling. And I'll leave it up to Faraday for now if you want to keep the rail wraith with you, or if you want to just let him chill in the train. If he chills in the train, he's just going to be like eating through fuel. But if you keep him in the vessel, he's going to get a little frustrated. He'll start to kind of act up a little bit, maybe.
We'll pull him out for now.
Okay.
Because I'm gonna talk to Adelaide and Callum about making
a
little not the mech suit yet, but I want to do a little train inside the place where he can
Chill.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah,
little miniature train, so he can chill inside.
I'll say if Garrick doesn't get back with what Carol's working on, maybe Carol can start doing some model train stuff.
Okay.
Assembling like the little trees, painting the little people. He's got the monocle for it. Yeah. So he's like kicking it in there. Maybe building a little vessel train.
Us to scale.
Yeah, and that's all you guys. The railroad. Chug.
My idea was his fuel would be the toothpicks that people used inside the
nice.
The little like
in like the matches
eating
and
area.
Stuff.
Yeah. So you just like as he goes by, like a little toothpick falls in.
That's sick.
Catches on fire.
I don't know why, but it just thought of if we did make us to scale, and then the rail wraith is like, "Hey, Buck, real quick," and you're like, "What?" And he looks over. It's like the trolley problem, and there's like you and Callum on one track.
What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Are you gonna let it go, or are you gonna make a call? I'm coming. Oh boy!
It reminds me of like Beetlejuice when he's like in the little townhome like area landscape, and that's just him the entire time.
Oh man.
Which lever are you gonna pull? I'd be like, well, I'm saving me. Later, Callum.
That's great.
Buck's not gonna do anything interesting. He's gonna probably just go down. He's just gonna take a relax as he's been eating rations for however long we were gone.
Yeah. The time on the train
days.
for sure, because Teo would have given you guys some nicer food for like 2 nights.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So yeah, he's been eating like crap, so he's gonna go and get his red meats and whiskey. So he'll just his plan there is to kind of just people watch, look at the job board, see what's going on, and kind of regain bearings of what's been happening.
See what you've missed.
Yeah, what's been happening the last like 12 days.
Okay. We'll say T is gonna probably rest up for a little bit and then head down to the Speakeasy. We'll say she's helping out a couple copper a night just for the passive income, but we'll deal with anything that she may or may not hear. But there's probably a bizarre moment where you go down there to get your red meats and T serves you red meat. that probably happens. And you're like, what's in this? And she's like, meat. Leaves.
What kind of meat?
Edible.
Guess. chewable.
No, wait.
It's chewable. What else matters? For now, I'll say Carol is working on model trains, conferring with his notes, and just compiling kind of the stuff that you guys have been. Yeah, if that's all of the housekeeping stuff, we'll jump to Buck eating steak and drinking whiskey in the bar.
Yes, sir.
Adelaide, Callum, and Faraday, you feel free to jump in at any time if you think of something that you want to be doing. The Winchester Ammunition Hall now has a big stamp on it that says completed, but there is a note kind of hastily scrawled and daggered into the board right below where someone has written, "See you soon, B." Knifed into that note right next to it is, "Heard you's back in town. Thanks for the lift, Bucky."
I'll re-pull it off the board, and I'll jet the knife out, and I'll leave it on the table, kind of just sitting there, cutting and eating, and now with a double of whiskey.
Do you have yourself a pen pal there, Buck?
Old friend, pen pal is a very light way of putting it, but sure.
Do you want to go visit him today?
Absolutely not.
Oh,
It wouldn't be a very fun reunion.
It's not someone that you are particularly fond of?
Not anymore. There's a little bit of housekeeping that we should probably talk about before I get into the nitty-gritty. First off, Adelaide, I do need to apologize for the way that I shouted at you before we took off. That wasn't right, and I'm trying to do better. So
I appreciate that. I've known to butt in quite a bit. You know,
I've noticed.
I'm one of 8, so you got to ask what you need to ask if you want to get your answers.
And I don't take too kindly to people butting in on a lot of things, and I kind of just realized that's just who you are, and if we're going to keep doing this, it's something I unfortunately have to get used to, and I'm okay with that for now. Second thing is, Faraday, I haven't been completely honest with you with a lot of things. That boar people, the boarhead people that you're looking for, I know them, unfortunately too personally. I was a part of them at one point, not during the time whatever happened to your people.
Can I insight that?
Natural 20.
I got a 9.
Steel trap.
Seem to be telling the truth.
It's a different vibe when you know.
Why I wasn't so forthcoming with taking the almost 2 weeks down south is because, well, that's where I originally came from, as you guys know. Pushed me in the opposite direction of where I needed, or where I feel like I needed to be. And he'll pull out his pocket watch, lay it on the table, he'll open it up, and it's a picture of him and a olive-skinned woman. She's got like this like long flowing like black hair that comes down into a braid. That's my wife. That's Maria. We met while we were traveling with the Hellkites. I'm from Siderland myself. I haven't been there though since I was 15, maybe 16, so it's been 20-some years roughly. Traveled alongside, went to a bunch of military school. Excellent sharpshooter in my class, and I got kind of plucked from a military academy there and went off traveling. My job, unfortunately, was to capture, I'll kind of point down towards sticks, these creatures by any means necessary.
Is that how you met him?
No, he showed up on my doorstep when my house blew up. In due time, I'll get there. I had a friend, his name was Sven. He was a local here. We kind of bonded over different things. He kind of taught me how to trap and kind of honed my skills with exploring the wilderness and making sure that whatever I got a nice little bead on, I don't lose track of them. We grew very closely, and then over time Maria came over, and she was one of the combat nurses. I took a stray shot one time, and she patched me up. Wasn't too fond of what we were doing at the time, and late one night, me and Maria took off and been on the run ever since. Thought we'd kind of get as far south as we thought we needed to be, and created a ranch in the woods. Lived there for some odd years, and I just wanted a quiet life. The couple days before I met you, Faraday, I was tending to the animals. My house blew up, and my wife was missing. only a handful of people knew where I lived and who Maria was. So I came looking, and it's kind of when I ran into you, and when you told me that you're looking for those people. Kind of knew I kind of had to stick with you because you knew where you were going, at least to some extent. So I do apologize for lying to you and keeping that from you. But kind of had to gauge of who you were as a person before I kind of just blurted everything out, if you know what I mean. This could be one of two people on this piece of paper. Could be Sven, or it could be the Admiral, Patrick McConnell. You and the doctor might know him. I don't know how well, but he's from Siderland.
I'll give it to Adelaide. Throw a history test. His name is pretty widely known. Okay. I'm just curious if the 20-something fresh out of college would follow current events.
Yeah.
Super closely in a historical and also war sense. Would you roll with that?
18.
Target number was 14. So you're fine. Yes. And I apologize for the spelling on this one because you guys.
When he gave the spelling to me, I was like,
yes,
I hate you.
Patrick
McConnell.
McConnell
is spelled exactly how you expect.
Patrick is not.
Patrick is Padruig.
Hold on.
Patrick McConnell has been in charge of a group called the Ancillary Strike Team. He recruits out of the Vanguard Academy of Siderland. It is not part of the Historical Sciences University, but it would be under the same umbrella. So the Goddard Institute handles science. The Vanguard Academy is the military.
It's the smarties and the athletes.
Yes. They would have the same notoriety as like the Green Berets.
Would they be here, like in Fletcher's Roost?
Probably not in the city, and definitely not full-time in Carcasso. But they're very prominent in Siderland. They are known for putting down any Ten of Oak unrest, even following the end of the war.
I did a lot of bad, so I have a lot of good to making up for.
Thanks for sharing, Buck. I have a couple questions.
I assumed as much, which is why I figured, you want anything to drink?
I am good right now.
Okay, then it's 2 for me.
On the side, before this starts, Adelaide and Callum are going to take a 1 copper bet as to how this conversation ends.
Do you think that these Hellkites are the ones that went after your wife?
Yeah. Nobody else would have any reason to come after me.
Do they want her specifically, or are they using her against you?
Unless they, could be both. I mean, my wife is a very intelligent, very caring person. My forefront thought was just to get to me, because they know that I'll die trying to find her.
And how many years ago were you involved with the Hellkites?
Hold on. Devin has to do math.
Answer this question.
Keep in mind, 15 years ago was when I got attacked. So that is...
15 years ago is when I started with them, so I would have been in Siderland. So Buck would say...
That was his first mission. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, your first mission was Operation Desert Storm.
He stopped working with them 6-7 years ago is when he stopped. But he's never been to the desert.
Okay. Do you think anybody is running... In your experience with the Hellcats, do you think anybody is above the Hellcats? Who are they associated with? Completely.
My father has probably a whole handful in that pot.
Forgive me if this is a calloused question, but it sounds like your past and your family kind of intermingle to a degree, and you and your lovely wife there had quite a beautiful home and life going. Why not change your name?
I thought about it, but I'm very keen on wanting to change the bad that my family has done, and I want them to know that a Winchester can change it.
Do you know what the intention was of the group that attacked Faraday's town? Because it From what Faraday's told us, it sounds like it was a bit of scorched earth policy, and I don't know what there's to be gained by that.
My best guess could be power, could be something in that area that they want for themselves. It could be land, claiming land, stating a name.
Drew, would I know of anything special from my home village that they might want?
In hindsight, what would have made more sense is if they had grabbed someone like Bigby.
Mm-hmm.
Someone who at the time was capable of something.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been their MO. That would have made sense. The Galahorn Coalition, as it has always sort of functioned, is the removal of magic. So anybody that can bring about any kind of real change individually or could inspire others through that change is something they would like to destroy.
Mm-hmm.
So best bet would be is if they thought somebody in your village could do something like that. Then it would have become a target. And if they were desperate enough, they might have grabbed these Hellkites to send them in and make sure that no matter who it was, they're gone and there's no proof.
Do you know for sure that that's something that they did? Given what we just experienced and we had a group of people that were pretending to work for someone else, maybe it was an ulterior motive pretending to be that outfit.
I mean, when I flew the banner, we were proud to hold it. I highly doubt that.
You heard of the raids in the desert, at least? I guess is what I'm getting at.
Would I have heard?
Didn't need to know.
Yeah,
Didn't
I
ask
wasn't.
questions.
I wasn't.
Plus, if that's around the time you're starting out, they're
Yeah.
not going to tell every recruit every job. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's definitely if they did it, they weren't bragging about it.
Do we need to take these guys out? If we take the Hellkites out, does that end all the suffering that they may be enduring on these lands? Or do we need to take them out from the top?
Top's a good place to start. But everything starts from a solid base. Everything crumbles from underneath it. Gotta start somewhere. All I know is that one of these bullets in this revolver is saved for the Admiral. At first, when I was hanging out with you guys, I saw you guys as pawns, tools, weapons to use, and you now are all kind of starting to hold a nice little soft spot in my heart. I can't just have you guys go blindly following me around doing stuff. I've never failed at anything, a mission or a bounty or anything like that, so when we couldn't track down Laotse and I snapped at you, it was coming from that sort of end and something that I'm trying to break. I just don't like failure. So.
Well, Buck, we haven't failed yet. He's still out there. It's not like someone else got the bounty.
I'd like to pick up where we left off, but we kind of have a sour name and face in the spire, so we just got to be careful. But I just want you guys to be aware of the danger of being around and with me. So in case anybody comes kicking down our door or jumping on our train and they're wearing that boar's head and they shout my name or say something, I don't want you guys to be caught off guard by it.
It's fair. I mean, half the group has ties to this nefarious bunch one way or another, so it seems that we're somewhat inclined to deal with them at some point.
I might call it an early night and kind of just hang out, but if you guys want to hit it hard tomorrow, we can figure it out from there. And if y'all got any, aside from you, Faraday, any interesting or depressing backstories that or troubling times that y'all want to share, or was it just a vent session for me?
Well, if I have a depressing story, it hasn't happened yet. We might be living it now, but...
That's one. There you go. Do you have any more questions for me, Faraday? I know I kind of dumped a lot out on you in these last 30 or so minutes we've been chatting.
I think you've answered everything, but I do want to say I'm with you if you're going for the Hellkites.
Good to know. I appreciate that.
I'm curious, Faraday, if you could go help Dr. Carroll for a little bit. I'm interested to see this small train. And perhaps if you haven't thought of a name for your railway pal, we could discuss, or maybe name the little train in there to figure out where it would go within the guild hall.
Yeah.
But once we are in there, I do want to ask, that went over pretty well. I just want to make sure you're okay and don't have anything else. Any ill feelings?
It sounds like Buck didn't really have anything to do with my past.
True. I believe him.
And so I believe if he had said something earlier in our meeting, I probably would have wanted to fight him rather than be a friend of his. And as we've gotten to know each other, I think he and I could make a good team going towards our eventual same goal. Whether that means I have to go further or he has to go further than either of us want, I'm with him.
Well, you are exceptionally level-headed, Faraday, and I respect you for that. I'm happy to have you on the team.
Yep, great to be here. Great to be alive still.
As the night starts to wind down, a term I'm using, it's a future pun, as out one of the little windows for you guys, there is a little mechanical owl that kind of flits down. And it's just, you just hear like a little kind of clockwork tick-tock as the sun kind of just crests down. And you start to just see the Imperial soldiers walking up and down the lane. They're on about a 10-minute rotation, up and down. But the road immediately outside is pretty quiet. The little owlet just kind of hangs out outside the window for a better part of the night, and then eventually the Inquisitor's clanging around. He'll kind of... There's a few ratacogs out gnawing on the piles of waste, but the Inquisitors don't mess with them too much. Kind of letting them run their course. Night's pretty quiet, pretty uneventful. You guys sleep great for not being in a train that's roaring down the tracks. You kind of get a little, like, it's almost like reverse seasick. I know there's a term for it, but when you've been in motion for a long time and then suddenly you're stationary, where you're kind of I think it's stillness illness is what they call it.
It's got a nice ring to it.
Yeah. That's starting to click. But
That's
it's
not what
enough,
it's called. It should.
Yeah, it's not enough to be disruptive for you, but it is kind of just that weird sensation of laying in a stationary bed where it's actually quiet. And you're like, man, the silence is deafening when it's not just a roaring train. But otherwise, the sun will start to peek over the nearby buildings. And it's a new day for you.
So I was laying in bed last night and I had a thought, but I wanted to talk to you because you're the premier tracker of the group. He's been very elusive, Laotse. He's been around for weeks. No one can seem to find him, or if they do, he slips away. It seems to me the most logical thing to do would have some sort of way to track him so that we know of his whereabouts. Is there anything that you do as a tracker that we could try to set in a trap for him and then know where he goes the next day?
It's only hard because, I mean, I don't know intention or what he's used to. My tracking capabilities were predominantly, I followed their Riftkin. They usually would leave behind something. Knowing that he's got a little bit bigger of a creature than Bud. I don't know necessarily what they're called, but he's got one of those that I kind of hit. Find something that creature likes, and then that's going to be a good tie to what he would need, but something that the creature would need. As far as people, that's just how I found the people, if they had one of those things.
Is there a way that Adelaide or even Callum would be able to detect if a rift was recently closed in a location?
Scientifically, yes. Yeah, that would make sense to me. There would be some level of
Some trace amount.
disturbance of it. All of you would get the... It's kind of the, like, goosebumps, I'm being watched feeling
Like a
type
tingle
deal
in the
when
back of your
something's
neck?
been interacted, and then, as we all know now, T can smell it.
Yeah.
Because for you guys, there would be, like, the faintest ozone smell.
But it'd be hard to tell if it was
But-
specifically his, right? It just, we would know a rift was closed
Yes.
here, not necessarily.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we can find. I don't know what their focus would be. I know yours is your little crest, bandages, rifle. If we knew what his was, I mean, that would be one way to track it. Speaking of, after I shot them both, did he recall back? Because I don't remember following that creature's trail. I remember following only his. Would I have seen him or what he did to recall said creature?
No.
Okay.
But you have not seen or heard of it being mentioned
again.
at any point. Which, to again quote Adelaide, the absence of evidence can't be evidence itself.
Mm-hmm.
Question, because I don't recall, and this is not a joke about my memory loss.
Okay.
Does Laotse report to the people that you are looking for as well, or are these unrelated cases?
Assuming unrelated. I
Okay.
mean, I've never heard of, and especially with a strange name like that, I would have probably heard somebody in the rankings. But
Okay. I was just curious if we were doing this exclusively for money, or if this held a piece to the puzzle we were trying to solve as well.
no, definitely the coin, and more so for the good of what it would bring, probably. Like, I mean, if you want, yeah, you want to take today, go check out where he once was, or maybe still is.
Yeah, I don't have any better ideas for the day at hand. What about you, Faraday?
I agree. We should try and track him down. I don't know if we're ready to take him down though. If his bounty keeps going up, this guy sounds pretty.
He's either
Pretty
very
strong.
slippery or very dangerous.
He bleeds. That's all I care about.
Are there any places in Fletcher's Roost, districts or otherwise, that have a heavier focus on Riftkin? Like somewhere where we could train our abilities? Like Callum would have been there, so this is how we could know if it exists.
Yes, there are 2 districts that would deal with Riftkin, but in 2 different ways. There's the more military district, in which, yeah, absolutely, people that train and fight alongside their Riftkin would go there, spar, get stronger, study up on tactics, or just training grounds if you want to just kind of see what they can do. So that would be a great place for where Callum would have taken Redtail probably a few times. The other one would have been the Innovation District, the Hammers, where Ravensworth's lab was. That's the kind of place where Rift energy is more freely used. And everybody that's uncomfortable with that sort of thing just sort of doesn't go there. So there's a fair bit of like local superstition about that place. If you're not a tamer and you don't mess with that,
Kind of do a wide
they're,
berth.
they're like, let the weird scientists and like tech wizards do what they're gonna do. I'll be over here and let me know when it's gonna change my life. But I don't want to see the progress part.
Maybe worth splitting our day and checking for evidence at first, and then maybe heading over. I found a facility for training our Riftkin. Perhaps we can take the opportunity to refresh our combat skills, both for us and our pals, if he is as dangerous as we anticipate he might be.
Could be a place. You want to hit that well and then hit wherever that is?
I'm down to show you guys after, if that's what you'd like to do. I mean, it's been 2 weeks since we've gone. He may have stopped in. There may be new clues. I don't see any harm in checking again.
Yeah. You go
Yeah.
with that, Faraday?
Let's go.
All right.
Cool.
I'll let T and Carol know that where we're going.
Okay. I'll say T would probably tag along.
Okay.
Carol, who knows? We'll see what Carol's doing.
Okay.
I'll give Garrick a chance to weigh in with Carol. Yeah, it's as you may recall, it's a very short jaunt over to the well. It's 2 streets down. As you guys start kind of crossing the lanes, a lot of the waste piles from yesterday have been sort of eaten through, gnawed down by the radicogs overnight, and then are progressively sort of filling back up in the day. Something that normally the city would not be allowing is to have those radicogs just feasting, because that's how they'll spread, and you'll have hundreds of them. But for now, it's better than waste and disease rising up in the streets. But it's a stinky little walk over to that well. That person who was sweeping is not still on their porch, but there are signs that they're in their house. But that would be the only person that would recognize you
That's what I was
coming
going to
back.
ask. If they were just absentmindedly sweeping again, I'm like, man, you sweep a lot.
No, it seems perhaps as though they've rid themselves of the coins and are now attempting to live a quiet life of humble existence.
Just go bust down the door.
Yeah.
Where is he?
Tracker 99, go ahead and make a tracking test since the last time you've been in.
Tracker 19. Roger. 22, sir.
22?
Yep.
Okay. From the last time you were here, there is a brick that has fallen into the well from the inside. Almost as though perhaps someone used it as leverage down or up, and it just had fallen down. Not something that would have been super obvious. The well wasn't in the best care, but there are like some scuffs as if someone has been down there.
Is the bottom of the well stone?
It is like earth, because that's
Earth.
where like groundwater would have been stored for a long time, and then they just let it dry up.
Okay. And then in his little base, is it also just earth?
Mm-hmm. That is soft earth all the way down. T would be right at home again.
All right. Well, Faraday, you want to give me a little jump down in there and then maybe assist the other two?
Yep.
All right, so you grab Buck, and you guys kind of flitter on down. As soon as you clear over the side, you do see that brick is kind of sticking into the earth down at the bottom. And there is a big depression from an impact. So
Ah, man.
He might be in there.
your trap may have sprung something in the last few days, but the metal sheet is still kind of just loosely propped up over that hole.
I'm going to bring like Faraday like close in and being like, get him quickly, get him quietly. And then I'll just pull out my revolver.
Guess I go up and get the rest of the gang.
Okay.
Okay.
I thought you guys were
Just
just
grab.
going.
You want to grab Adelaide or Callum next?
I'll grab Callum because I feel like
Adelaide.
Adelaide's gonna say something while floating down.
I already have it lined up.
All right, and then I go up and get Adelaide.
Save the best for last. Have you?
Yep, of course.
On the way down, Callum and Buck, give me awareness tests.
16.
18.
Buck, from your time in the military, when someone has a bad injury, their breathing can get a bit labored. Their mind kind of just freezes over in pain. You hear some exasperated sounds coming through this tunnel. Callum, this well is haunted, dude. There's definitely a presence on the other side of this metal sheet, as there's a almost imperceptible, like it could be mistaken for the breeze if you didn't know what you were listening for and if you weren't listening so closely. But as Adelaide and Faraday are flying down, you start to just hear the sounds of someone stirring in this well.
And I immediately, like, it's hand gestures that Callum clearly wouldn't understand, but it's like you and me.
Wait, do them. I will tell you how
would-
Callum will
yeah, okay.
interpret them. He definitely sees, we're looking at each other. We're going to keep quiet, and then we're going to sneak beneath the cover thing and go in quietly while you shoot him in the back.
So as I'm floating down, I see your hand gestures, and I'm like, uh-oh.
And I'm like, mm.
And so I land gently, and I release Bud as I'm coming down with Adelaide.
Okay. Yeah, as you're gently floating down, there's a little bit of purple light as Bud just kind of like seeps out of the bandage trails, and then kind of like trails his little fingers down the course of the well as you're flying down, always holding that little metal ball, and he's just.
And yeah, Buck continues hand signals of like. that take it as you will.
Bud just goes, he has strep throat, very sore, no talk, pain.
I'm taking that as wait for him to make more noise.
Buck's gonna kind of go up to like the metal sheet, and then he's gonna point to each one of you.
I'm going to take that as he wants me to go in.
Okay.
Okay.
So Bud is going to use Spectral Shroud
Yeah.
with me, and we are going to essentially go invisible.
As Bud is kind of trailing down, seeing these hand signals, and Faraday, you and Bud lock eyes. Bud almost just disperses, and then clouds around Faraday, and he just becomes a being of like purple mist. And you just see those like nice green eyes with Bud's kind of yellow glow around.
Oh, that's so sick.
He achieves a very haunting visage, and then Bud just kind of closes his yellow eyes just enough so that you can see, but otherwise you just look like the morning fog rolling in.
And Buck just
Okay.
kind of like rips it, and then as soon as Faraday walks in, Buck's behind, like just gun out ready.
So this is gonna be really funny. So as you,
Gabrielo.
Gabrielo is like
behind it all along.
Gabrielo's like, oh man, I never take the shortcut to the shop. Oh, it hurts so bad. This has always worked forever. So this is gonna be kind of funny. So Buck, as you pull the metal sheet away, there is a flash of steel lunging towards you that bumbles into the morning fog that is Faraday. Not seeing the person, but seeing a hand pull back as Faraday's like ghosting in. So a small person, probably 4.5, maybe 5 feet tall, in a low crouch holding a dagger, lunges out towards you and collides with Faraday and just kind of knocks themselves back to the ground.
Can I use the fast property of my revolver?
Yeah, sure.
And I'm gonna just hit him in the hip, with
God,
like
hip shot.
Yeah, just a hip shot. I'm not
Okay.
trying to go for a kill.
Yeah.
Do you have enough time to discern this is your target?
No.
No, you're just doing it?
There's just motion.
Somebody came out and attacked us with a
Okay.
knife.
There's a commotion in the ocean. And then Faraday and Bud, if you have reacting things that you want to do as well, you are more than welcome.
15 to hit.
15 to hit?
Yeah.
Okay. They lunge forward and bonk into you, Faraday, but you're built like a very lean brick house. They tackle into you and you just go, no. And they slam themselves back down. Buck, you've got the gun drawn ready for action. Blammo! Roll me some damage. Oh, boy.
4 points.
4 points? Okay. It's a nice grazing shot. You hit him a little bit above the hip and kind of like graze the abdomen. And it just kind of slices into the ground. And there's this like low grunting shriek as this very pale little person kind of like all clothed in black and holding one little knife in their hand just kind of scrabbles and darts through that little tunnel.
Still after
Still.
all that?
Bleeding heavily, but
Um,
adrenaline has kicked in.
Yeah, Buck just disregard for what everybody else is doing, just goes. He just barrels in.
Okay.
He's not letting his mark get away
Yeah.
now.
I remember 5 memories, and this was one of them, and we're doing it again.
As we run, I am going to use my Warden ability.
Oh?
And I am going to use my Hunting Adept
Yeah.
to be able to track this guy.
Yeah. Oh, yes, there's a lot of blood.
Oh, yeah.
It is, as it was before, pitch black in here.
Mm-hmm.
As you're kind of crawling after them.
Yeah, I'm
You're
just
like,
using any sort of sense from this thing.
Yeah.
So,
So I'll say that gives you the chance to know where you're going. You've been through this tiny tunnel before, and you know roughly when it's going to open up. But your other senses are on high alert right
Yeah.
now.
Are you going with it?
Faraday, you would also have the initiative if you were to run through, as you were the one headed into the tunnel. So you could either be like squeezing in there with Buck, or you could go out ahead. But you also still look like fog.
Yeah, I was going to say, how long does the Spectral Shroud last?
It
doesn't
lasts
say.
until you move apart from one another.
Okay.
So Bud can't do anything else, but you can.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Bud's like attached to me right now, basically.
Yeah.
Keeping me
He's shrouding you.
shrouded. And I dart in right after Buck. I'm
Okay.
following Buck.
Faraday and Buck, you emerge in pitch blackness. Buck, you're coming out first.
mm-hmm.
There's a pained grunt, and then a foot comes flying right towards that face.
Yeah.
Buck, does a 13 hit your armor?
Where's my armor on this sheet? What?
A 13.
Yeah.
Okay. Buck, you take a booted foot right to the center of the forehead.
Okay.
As you're coming through. In the darkness, there's just a wham! and then a pained howl and cry from this tiny person.
Beautiful.
That's 5 points of damage to the forehead. That's a
Actually
bonk.
sizable for me.
That is a bonk to the noggin.
Yeah.
That's more than half my health.
And then there's a kind of like
No shot. Is it really?
there's a scuttling in the dark as this little person. I keep calling it a creature. It is a human person. They're just very hunched and very small. They sort of skitter off in the direction, knowing what you know about the location of this room, towards where that bed was last time you were here.
Yeah. Immediately I'll just I'll kind of reach for my my pack, and I'll just pull out just a quick flint and strike a torch.
Okay.
So and I'll just immediately, as soon as it strikes, I just drop it on the ground to just give me what's around.
Okay. A torch lights up. Adelaide, Callum, and T, from the other side of this tunnel, you just hear the sound of like a boot hitting a skull.
Songbird.
Buck's head kind of like recoils into the top of the tunnel, which is thankfully pretty soft earth, but it's still another good whack.
It still hurts.
And then he kind of rolls out of there, strikes up a torch, and you can see 2 figures in the far corner of that room on the other side of this little tunnel. The 2 of you who are closer, Faraday, you just kind of ooze into the room like a shadow, as that fog is still clinging to you, and your ability to just kind of move fluidly already, you're just using this to look like a ghost. You just ghost your way in. Buck, you're kind of bleeding from the nose. Your forehead's kind of like swelling up a little bit. You look ahead. You see about a 4-foot tall, very pale individual dressed all in black cloth, still holding 2 knives, but like very clearly having trouble standing from the blood that's pooling out of their abdomen. And they're kind of like nursing their foot. Seems like the way they kicked you wasn't the best. But they are currently standing over Laotse Shirai with a knee bone exposed.
I'm waiting for the rest of the people, and I'm
Yeah.
just kind of holding there and still kind of like in that like kneeled pose, just holding the gun. I'm going to wait for, or actually, I'll just say it. I'll be like, Faraday, grab Laotse, and I'll just kind of sit there, and I'm going to hold my revolver towards the one with the knives.
Yeah.
So then I ooze on over, so to say, to Laotse, and I grab him. Attempt to grab him.
Yeah.
I don't know if I need like a stealth check or anything like that.
Go ahead and do might.
Might, okay.
I'm going to give Laotse with difficulty because they are not in the best shape. It's still really high.
Got a 14.
14. It's a 16 minus 2 from the difficulty, meaning it's a tie. I'm going to say in this case, tie goes to the runner. So I'm going to say you're able
Laotse?
to...
I'm just-
No, I'm going to
He's
say
running.
you're able to secure Laotse, who puts up minimal fight. It is got some pretty labored breathing, and as you kind of go to grab them, there's a very pained wheeze that escapes them, as a couple of ribs are also cracked from the way they landed.
You
Which
full
is
commit, dude.
This is why I was laughing really hard when you guys were like, "Man, if they come back here," I'm like, "This is their hideout."
Yeah,
So
that
they're
is
gonna
it.
come back, and they're not gonna know. They're gonna be like, "Cool." It is easy enough to secure Laotse. The individual with the knives gives a like panicked, frantic look at everyone in the room, and then just keeps looking back and forth between Laotse and a lot of you, but makes no other attempt to run because you've got a gun drawn on them.
I'm going to need you to go ahead and drop those. I'll shoot him out if I have to.
Adelaide and Callum, what are we doing?
We heard some of the...
Oh, yeah.
Okay, yeah. We're...
I was gonna say Faraday says get in here now.
Yeah, you're only about 6 feet away.
Yeah, we'll shout
Tiny
out
tunnel.
to the witch or tell her if she's only part ways up.
Yeah.
Well, it seems like that was unnecessary. And
Okay.
we will head in the room and see all of this.
Yeah. There's a 4-foot tall individual wrapped all in black cloth holding 2 knives. They've got a number of like tiny pouches and little like throwing knives, throwable things on a little belt around them. And I'll say, I don't know who's really the most intuitive among the squad.
+1.
Plus 2.
Given their size and the frantic glancing of their eyes, this is a kid, 12, 13.
Shot
Yeah. But to be fair, he kicked you in the forehead
Yeah.
after you shot him.
Afterwards.
He did attempt to stab us, though.
Yeah.
But this could be like his kid.
The grip is very sure. You grant they know what to do with the knives. They're just not sure they have the spine to try. They make no effort to drop the knife, but they seem kind of stuck, as if they didn't expect to have to intimidate anybody, and have now tried and sort of failed.
Would an awareness check or an intuition check be something that we could distinguish if he's loyal to Laotse or being forced to help Laotse?
Yeah, you could try to intuit the situation.
Okay, I don't have mastery, but
That's fine.
I would love to do an intuition check.
Yeah,
You have your bonus.
You have your
you
bonus
you have that
mastery.
free one.
recap.
If you
It's up
want,
to you.
All right, bonus mastery.
You
Actually.
do not have to, you can.
Let's go for it.
Use the resource.
Oh, that was a waste.
no, it's not.
10 in total.
10 in total?
You don't have
Yeah.
a plus,
No, I had 0.
Yeah.
buddy.
Okay. It's hard to tell how much is out of fear and how much is out of love. But there is some degree of loyalty from this kid to Laotse. And vice versa. Laotse, even through the mask, is just staring daggers at you.
All we want is you. He can go free.
There's just a pained growl.
And I'll walk up to the kid and I'll put the barrel to his forehead and be like, "How much does he mean to you to come with us?"
Laotse's hands start to kind of flicker.
No. I'll pull the lever back. I don't fire, but just as an intimidation of I'm not playing.
Adelaide and Callum will step in. Adelaide to Laotse, Callum to the smaller figure, and they will both inspect their wounds. This doesn't look very good, regardless of what he's saying over there. You're going to need help if you want to get out of this alive. I can help you if you want. And Callum can help your friend. And he's looking it up and sizing it, and he's got stitches at the ready if he can help patch him up.
You talking to the kid?
Adelaide's talking to Laotse.
Adelaide's talking to Laotse.
Yeah.
Give me an influence test, but with difficulty.
Okay.
Laotse's not happy about this turn of events. Dude.
-5.
I rolled a natural 1, bro.
And a 6 on the difficulty.
Oh, wow.
You could not have rolled any worse.
That's the worst you could possibly do.
Adelaide, in a language
my
you don't
God.
speak, Laotse painfully growls at you, the equivalent of go and teach your grandmother to suck eggs. We'll keep it family friendly as much as we can.
Good lord.
The kid is
-5.
just petrified.
Yeah.
Doesn't know what to do, is afraid that if they drop the knives, they might get shot, is kind of half running the measures of who could I get to in time, but to what end? But is otherwise just terrified to move, and Laotse seems to be operating under the assumption that if anything happens to this kid, at least one of you is not leaving this room.
Bone is exposed, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Is there any wood? Like a plank of wood?
There is
any
a
wood?
scabbard of one of these daggers that is held together with one of those cloth sashes, as if they tried, but this kid has no medical knowledge.
Unlike her, whatever we just rolled, medicine is off the charts.
Yeah.
So she is going to start putting something together. Well, I understand your perspective in this, but I still think we're the best shot you have of getting out of here. And she'll start getting it ready and looking at him I'll help you, and it's going to really hurt. It's going to really hurt.
So we've got an interesting conundrum. He stares at you, and so far has not said anything in any language that you speak. So as you're negotiating, he's just blank, angry stare, half at you, half at Buck.
I think it might knock him out if I set this leg.
Good. It'd be easier to carry out.
The kid will finally squeak, "He doesn't speak the language."
Aye, but you do.
Yeah? What's it to you?
Well, it seems like there's no way you're getting out of here unless we help you with this. Medically speaking, of course.
The way I see it, I get one, maybe two of you. That's pretty good numbers.
But you don't make it out of here, and neither will he then.
He's stronger than you think.
Doesn't look like it right now. We don't want you. We just want him.
What's you're so afraid of?
There's a gun to my head.
No, I mean beyond that.
Not much. I kind of live in the moment.
What's your relation with him?
He's important.
Adelaide will tighten one thing on one end of his leg.
There's a loud scream, a little bit of a crack, and then a pop as the bone is sort of drawn back through the wound. Those fingers light up again, and a little bit of a spark kind of ignites some of the straw nearby before Laotse sort of regains composure. There's a very long, deep, pained growl again, and just stares at you, but has not taken at least one eye off of Buck.
Your dad's worth a lot of money. What is it exactly that he did?
He didn't do anything. Well, he did the last one. And the one before.
So you are his kid. Good to know.
He's like, dang it.
Bud has moved away and grabbed one of Laotse's arms. And I look at him and I go, do you want this arm broken?
Well, no.
Drop the daggers.
All right. One knife kind of falls. A little bit more blood kind of oozes out of that wound. Puts the other one into the dirt.
We need to put some pressure right here on the wound to keep it from bleeding.
You gotta take the bullet out first.
Did it
It's-
go?
it's just a graze.
Oh, it was just
Yeah,
a graze?
It's
Oh,
across
okay.
the surface.
Okay, he's fine.
Yeah.
I thought you said in his abdomen. I was
Yeah, it's like
good God.
shooting into the dark at someone kind of lunging. It just kind of
Yeah.
goes like...
Okay.
So a long graze, but
Cool.
yeah, still a good shot. Yeah.
I'll
Bud's got one grip on Laotse's arm and just kind of holding on to it, sort of inspecting. He's like,
This is
good
good
muscle in there. Healthy, too.
as soon as
Wow.
he drops the daggers and he kind of screams in pain, I'll unchamber the bullet and I'll holster the revolver.
Why don't you tell us your story and I'll patch you up?
Laotse's, he's not a bad guy. He's just in with bad people. He takes care of us. He built this little spot for us down here. We weren't wanted anywhere else.
Who's us? Just the two of you?
For now. There were some others. They got picked up a few weeks ago.
By who?
The Blues up top.
Oh, I'm assuming you're speaking of the Knights.
Yeah.
I know he says pretty clawed. Can we see a face at all?
There's like eyes. They're wearing like a hood and a cowl.
Yeah.
But you see eyes in there. And they are the eyes of a frightened child in way over their head.
But they're not green like Laotse's are in that
No.
case?
They're like a
Okay.
brown, kind of hazel.
Who'd you get in bad with, kid?
Stole something.
What'd you steal?
Didn't look like a big deal at the time.
Can you show us what you stole?
Not here. I hid it.
Is that what all this commotion is about? What if we
No.
return it in your name and clear your...
Then they'll hang me anyway. Probably hang you for talking to me. That's how they run things.
You can't imagine that they would be upset if we just found it. Would they, Buck? I guess it depends what it is, but...
Depends on what it is and who he stole it from. Who'd you get it from?
Sort of went to a place where they keep stuff that's important and sort of opened a few doors that were locked and sort of walked out with something.
Was it like a bank?
No. Place they keep special stuff.
Where at? Maybe that'll help.
Let's allegedly say your friend went and stole something, where would they go to steal it?
Depends how hungry you are.
If they wanted something that expensive and valuable, where would they go?
Where I went,
Yeah, which is where?
building in the spires.
It doesn't have a name.
I can't read.
God damn it. So all those things that you did, you didn't do. So how'd you get in bad with these people that made you do this bad thing that now you definitely did?
Let's just... I didn't do the thing that I did do. Look, I stole something, okay? I'm gonna be honest.
And did Laotse take the blame for it?
Laotse was... He kind of looks over at Laotse, who just goes... Laotse was the distraction. He kept the blues busy. Long enough for me and my pals to do what needed doing.
Would you say it was roughly 12, maybe 13 days ago that happened? And that distraction was going on?
It was all going well till that big thing showed up breathing fire out of its trunk.
That was the night I shot Laotse in the leg.
Did any of this have to do with the lab that disappeared?
No, I don't think so. I haven't ever been over there.
Who asked you to do the job?
Someone? Look, I don't know. I just took the thing.
You took the thing for the guy or girl or whoever you did the work for?
That's how this stuff works.
You didn't get a name by chance?
Didn't need to know it.
Well,
Money was good enough.
You guys got in bed with them.
Yeah.
How do you know it's even that bad if you don't even know who they are?
We're living at the bottom of a well.
Well, I think you were doing that prior to 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. But if it was going better, we'd be out of here. We just needed one more good hit. But we got it. But someone stole our brick.
I would like to attempt to intuit, because this seems, based on what they have revealed and how it's going, that this isn't yet another distraction for something else to be happening.
I want to do another one, but for something completely different. So I'll wait till he's done.
Okay.
12.
Well, Faraday, you are the one currently holding down Laotse, as Bud is kind of caressing the arms, like, goodbye, Sam. Oh, I would guess maybe 6-7% fat. That's good. Could break that down. Laotse is almost imperceptibly speaking, but is muttering something. And the other hand finger, something is kind of beginning to dance. Callum would pick up where you've kind of torqued that knee bone back into place. The skin is very slowly yellowing, but closing like a weird bruise.
Okay. That'd be Adelaide, but yes. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Then yes, Adelaide would pick up on that for sure.
So I see the sparks coming from his other hand.
Laotse is
I hear him.
just twitching a gloved hand and muttering something, and that leg is
Healing
getting
faster
better.
than it should.
Oh, by a matter of like months.
Yeah.
He's doing something.
Faraday, look at this leg.
Take a look at it.
Looks a lot healthier
Yeah.
than it did when you got in here.
That's healing incredibly fast.
Yeah.
Do you say that out loud?
I guess mouth it, maybe. Healing incredibly fast.
Hey, Buck, do you have...
I'll toss out my my Wrangler's rope.
Okay. Faraday, as you lapse concentration for just a second to say that's healing incredibly fast. Give me one more mic contest.
No,
Oh,
I'm
no.
sorry. I distracted you.
No longer with
It's all my
difficulty from
fault.
Laotse.
No.
Oh,
Oh,
no.
buddy.
No,
8,
Brian.
9.
No.
15.
Oh my
no.
god.
As Laotse's leg slowly heals over, Callum, you're kind of watching this kid who's just constantly looking to Laotse to make sure he doesn't say too much. Laotse just gives a swift kick to Faraday, just enough to push you back as Bud is kind of holding onto the arm. His hand that's been kind of twitching just pushes, and rather than passing through, grabs onto Bud and just kind of throws him towards you and kind of pushes both of you back. As he rolls over, grabs a belt pouch off this kid and tosses it to the ground. There's a big burst of smoke. I'm going to give everybody a chance, because a lot just happened really fast, to make an endurance test to not be caught off guard by the smoke bomb.
13.
13?
I got a 9.
A 9. Faraday, you're more caught off guard by the kick from someone with a shattered leg. It was like one of the last things you would expect. As that smoke bomb pops, he puts one hand on the kid and starts to run. Buck, you see them kind of trail off into the sewer, but you've got a general direction for now, as you guys are kind of like dazed and confuzzled. As you turn off to run, you see them down that sewer. Laotse takes an immediate right, which would lead him eventually to the south gate of town. And there's a very loud rising series of moans from the sewers. But they don't get far. If you want to try to shoot again, I'll give it to you.
Yeah, I'm going to shoot him in the bad leg.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Give me that shot.
This is with a rifle.
Yeah.
You
just blow his leg off.
I will tell you... I don't want to kill him. You know what? I'll do it. I'm going to put my last mastery die doing a hunting adept on him.
Okay.
And I'm going to add extra damage to it. Equal to my exploration score.
He's going to shoot this guy. I'm going to shoot this man.
15 to hit.
15 hits, Laotse. I mean, it would hit the kid, too, admittedly, but I don't think you
No,
want to shoot the kid.
It's piercing.
I mean, it technically
I'm
is.
gonna blast!
I mean, it technically just has it. I can't control. But I'm going to shoot the leg. Buck's good enough to angle to where it's not going to hit the kid. He's not an animal.
He's running, holding the arm of the kid, so he's off to a side.
Perfect.
If you wanted to hit both, you'd have to hit the kid, and Laotse would be your piercer.
Yeah.
So that would be pretty savage.
10 points of piercing damage to Laotse.
Ow. Yeah, if you're aiming for the leg, you rip like clean through the thigh, and a big chunk of matter just pops out, and you see some bone exposed.
Bruh.
And he just bellows and roars again, and he's cursing and swearing. As the kid kind of hobbles him, they get just to where that corner would be, and you see like a gnarled, rotted hand kind of reaching out to meet them, and this like brain-dead face staring. But a difference from last time is... this creature is the head of a human, purple gas for a torso, a big dangling arm, purple gas for some of a leg, human foot, and then like a dog leg kind of stitched in there, and somehow there's like a big old crab claw. As more and more of these stitched together little monsters start to pool around.
There's the multiples?
Yeah. And all of them bear Laotse's sigil,
Good
burning in their forehead.
God.
As you were interrogating in that little subtle language, he's a ghoul collar.
Yeah.
I think this is when Bounty are going to have to be okay with failing.
Buck will get into, like, he'll kind of steady himself, seeing these things come barreling towards, will get into a position to where he could kind of shoot and tuck and roll to get near these guys.
Okay.
Knowing I may probably take a hit
Yeah.
getting away, but we'll
Okay.
see.
So here's what we're going to do. Next time on Rift. If you enjoyed this episode of Riftkin, please consider leaving a like on the video to show your support. If you'd like to see more of the Signature 6 and follow along as we continue their adventure, why not subscribe to the channel? If you'd like to help us out in other ways, you can follow the links in this video's description box to our Patreon. From there, you can join the discussions in our Discord servers, check out the post-show, still rolling, catch the pre-shows, now airing on Wednesdays, and see extended versions of each episode a week early. Let us know in the comments below what you thought about this session of Rift, and your thoughts about Buck's past, and your predictions for the upcoming battle. Thanks so much for watching. We'll catch you next week as the Signature 6 battle Laotse and their ghoulish minions.